Hello, this is Tim Campbell with TBC Action Coach of Indiana with our Business Spotlight series. The purpose is to interview local business owners and promote them through our social channels and email database, because we know that when all small businesses are strong, the economy is strong. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Rob. Hey, Rob, it's great to have you on the program today.
Thanks, Tim. Appreciate it, bud.
So let's start with having you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit of your background story.
Sure, man. Dr. Rob Bells. I'm a sports psychology coach. So I work with athletes, coaches, and teams on mental toughness. And, I believe that everyone's an athlete. Our office is just different. And so I've been blessed, man, to work with a lot of professional athletes, PGA Tour players. It just kind of runs the gamut. Started my own business in 2011 after a successful career, unsuccessful career in academia. And it was just one of those points where I was just no longer happy. And that hinge moment led to me just coaching and trying to help people get to exactly where they want to go. So it's been a blessing, man, and quite the journey throughout this process. So happy to be here, man.
Fantastic. So Dr. Rob, are you a native to Indiana?
No, I grew up on the East Coast. So I grew up in Maryland and then went to Division II school in West Virginia, and then went to graduate school at Temple University in Philadelphia, and then University of Tennessee. And there was a year off in Colorado, but then finishing up Tennessee 2006. We've been here ever since. But my kids are native Hoosiers, man, and we love it here.
Fantastic. So fun question I like to ask people is, if I was to give you ask you for your 60-second commercial for your business, what would your commercial be?
It's always a good one, man. So I kind of just said it, man, but we work with athletes, coaches, and teams on helping people perform their best when it matters the most. And
fantastic.
I say, man, if we can make it 15 seconds, that's even better.
Awesome.
That's what we do, man.
And I know you mentioned athletes, coaches, et cetera. Who's your ideal customer, your ideal client, that target audience? Who gets the most benefit out of what you do?
So I love speaking. I love group coaching, but I think my sweet spot is just definitely on the one-on-one relationship. And I think you probably agree with it, right? It's like when you take somebody, we identify the obstacles, we have that trust that's going to be built. And that's why I said, like, everyone's an athlete. So it doesn't matter if someone's trying to make a 5-foot putt to win a professional golf tournament and $1 million purse, or if someone is just trying to get through like their own barriers in life. It's just that one-on-one piece that I love so much, man. And I always say, it's the one skill we cannot coach, and that's just going to be desire. That's going to be motivation. So if somebody has that desire, they want to be the best at getting better, then those are always ideal clients. Those that are, kind of in and out, and we kind of test it out, those aren't good ones for me, man. Those are going to be for somebody else. So it's somebody that is knows that they're just not achieving that full potential and needs to get to that next level. Those are the ideal clients I work with, man. So again, it doesn't matter if it's really an executive or a professional athlete. Everyone's an athlete. Our office is just different.
Fantastic. So Dr. Rob, what's been the greatest impact that COVID has had on your business?
When it started, I think family-wise, it was one of those things where we would hear it kind of on the outside, well, man, like, we're spending more time as a family. That's always been priority number one. We always have dinner at the same time ever since our kids have been born. And that was a lot like on my wife as well. So that part never changed, man. That just kind of reinforced that we were doing it right. Mm. What happened though, and this is what I saw, is that just more executives, those that have had control, those that have been in charge, they reached out a lot faster than what they normally did. And I think the reason why is because, like with everyone, right, it's like the whole world flipped on its head at the same time. Right. And it really showed us then that lack of control of what we've got. And man, I've been blessed, man. The business was already set up, and kind of what you promote, man, having it work without you. And it was literally able to pick and choose the exact clients that I wanted to work with and still be able to service the other ones. Not that I didn't, but just didn't have time for, through my associates that are on my team, man. So That's been the biggest impact that I've seen, man, is that people that had the lack of control knew they needed help, and it became a perfect timing for it.
Wonderful. Congratulations. So what is one or two actions that you've had to take to make a difference during COVID? We've all had to pivot to try to figure out how to navigate this world. So what's a change that you made, and how's that been working for you?
So that's a great question, because I don't know if all those changes I made were like good. I mean, it just really reinforced to me, Tim, that it was like, and I think especially at this point, like we all had Zoom fatigue, we all had, this social distance. I never liked that term social distancing. I like physical distancing because it kind of made sense, but like it was the disconnect,
Mm.
and it was, you know, the hugs, man, the handshakes, the fist bumps, it's just being able to press the flesh with other people, so important. And it's really easy for me, especially in my career, to like isolate. It is. I mean, you can just kind of go through the motions and do it. And it doesn't mean not working hard, but it's just isolate. And that, what happened is it really shined a light on that. And I think, nothing grows in the dark, except for like mushrooms. Who likes those, right? But we can't isolate. And that was the biggest thing, man. So really being more intentional about setting up and surrounding myself with the people that I need to spend time with that can coach me up, and being able to press the flesh with them, man, because the screen, worked up to a point, but it didn't substitute it. And I think sometimes then it's even worked to our disadvantage. That was the biggest change, man. That was the part that I always see, man. It was just such the need for that.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. So, hey, Dr. Rob, here's an interesting question. It's been said that smart people learn from their mistakes and wise people learn from the mistakes of others. So, what's a mistake you've made along the way that you'd be willing to share to help other entrepreneurs learn from your experience?
It's a great one. Always good questions you got, Tim. Because you got a lot more better guests than I do, man. I mean than me. But it's I think the part that I've learned the most, and it was kind of illuminated to me early on in my career, but it was like, don't work for the money.
Mm.
And what that means, and what I've come to realize, is that the relationship is going to be more important than what that check is. And it doesn't mean you're working for free, right? That's ridiculous. What I'm saying is that you provide such incredible value that that price proposition never really even comes up, because I've never had somebody say, man, that was like such a great coach, man, such a good job that we did, only it was just a little bit cheaper. Like once they get the results, man, it doesn't matter what that charges. And so the fact is, it's like being able to set that up front. And if it's not going to work, hey, it's not going to work. It's not going to be the relationship, but that can't be like the hindrance. And it can't be something that comes up later on, because then it just impacts the whole relationship. That was something I've really learned, I think, throughout the career, was that piece. And when people pay, they pay attention. And I think when people pay, I mean, that's when we're we as coaches, and I think you probably agree with this, right? That's when we absolutely do our best, man, because you're providing value, we're going to provide value, but going above and beyond. And that's where I think then the relationship becomes more important than what that price point is going to be.
Great learning that everyone can take advantage of. There's too many people who get into the trap of price discounting and having that race to the bottom to try to undercut all of their competitors, when the reality is exactly what you said, right? Is if we're providing the right value proposition, then the absolute cost becomes almost irrelevant.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that, Dr.
Yeah.
Rob.
And I totally agree with you, man, because that was a huge mistake I made early on, and it was wonderful to listen to it, because that means, like, if you are pricing yourself and you know what your worth is, you can help people, but there are going to be no's.
Yes.
And so that means, well, there's the rejection piece, right? Well, who likes that? I don't like getting rejected,
Yep.
but it just means it's not a good fit,
Yep.
and it has to be the right fit of what you come to.
Yeah. Something my coach says to me all the time is, once you believe that you are worth whatever price you're charging, then you'll start attracting clients that are willing to pay that much.
Indeed, man. Totally true.
So second last question here. We've got your contact information. We'll be sure to include that along with this video. But is there anything else you want to make sure that we talk about today, or any types of offers that you've got running?
Well, man, I can always say, I mean, and this kind of relates back to, I think, COVID, but it was certainly puke and rally. And it's not one thing when I get on podcasts, man, I like to say, hey, man, this was like my book, you got to buy it. But puke and rally is exactly what happened, right? Like everyone pukes, we're all going to puke, but it's what happens after we make that mistake. What happens after we have that setback? And especially like with any book title, it's always the subtitle that matters. So puke and rally, yeah, it kind of grabs, it's a bit cheeky, but it's like, it's not about the setback, it's about the comeback. Like no matter how bad things are in somebody's life, no matter how downtrodden it looks or how bleak the outcome is, it only takes one person, one moment, one event to turn everything around. And that's what we're always getting ready for. And then what does it take to rally, man? It takes confidence and belief in yourself, but it also takes that connection with other people. I've found that the very best at some point in their life, they were told, don't do it. That's a bad idea. You're going to fail. Like that's silly. They were all told that. So why is that the deciding factor? Because if you really look deep, there was one person there that said, man, don't listen to that voice, man. You can do that. And that is what helped make them into the success, because it's like which voice you're going to listen to, right? The one voice that says you're not good enough, you can't do it. And sometimes that's our own head. Or are you going to say, no, I can, and listen to yourself and that belief? That's the part of puke and rally that I find to be so instrumental in my life and then in everyone's life, man. Is that there's going to be setbacks, but it's not about the setback, man. It's about the comeback.
That's awesome. Hey, Dr. Rob, tell us a little bit more about your book.
Yeah, man. Um, so I like doing ultra marathons. I like pushing myself. 100 miler that's coming up this year, and
Wow.
yeah, so it'll be. Hopefully, we'll say that like after the race too, right? Like, but it's. I mean, people say life isn't a sprint; it's a marathon. I think it's a lot harder than a marathon. A marathon now is a training run for me, and yeah, a marathon is tough, but a marathon's like 100-mile race, man. I mean, there's going to be a lot of ups. There's going to be a lot of downs. There's going to be periods where we don't think we can keep going.
Mhm.
And the only thing that we really have to get back to, and what I believe, is that we just keep moving. If we just keep moving, we will be successful. It shows us that because it has worked so far. The problem is that we stop, we quit when we don't think we can keep doing it. And that's the lie that we kind of tell ourselves. And that's what the book's all about, man. It's just like the fact of all the best have had these setbacks. What did they do to overcome it?
Mm.
How did they have that comeback? And I kind of mentioned it before, but it's like, you need to be told that you're not good enough. You need to be told that that's not a good idea. That's actually the prerequisite for success, because then it's a fish or cut bait moment. You can't be like, well, maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong. No, it's like either you are going to agree with them or you're going to agree with yourself.
Mm.
And that's what I've always seen that it comes back to. Now, we can't always operate in that space of, have to prove them wrong, have to prove them wrong, because then it's so much hate filled, and it's just going to spiral, right? We've got to, it's getting back into proving ourselves right. And then it's getting back to that confidence and belief and trust, man, which I think is the most important mental skill. And that's what that book's about, man.
Fantastic. So we'll make sure to put a link to that when we post this video, so folks can find it out. Is it on Amazon, or how do folks get it?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Or my website, drrobbell.com. And if you want, man, let's have a giveaway. You set it up, and I'll send them a copy.
Okay, fantastic. Wonderful. Appreciate the
I'll
offer.
send you one too, Tim. You bet, man.
All right, fantastic. So last question here, Rob. What's been most inspiring to you during all the craziness of the past year?
I I get inspired by people that, no matter what kind of situation that they're in, that they're willing to put themselves out there.
Mhm.
And that's why I think I love the world and the play box of sports so much, is not for like the fandom piece, but the fact of it, there's no ambiguity when it comes to you won the race or you didn't. You hit the shot or you didn't hit the shot. There's no ambiguity in life. Like there's so much ambiguity, right? It's like, wow, you got that big contract. Well, are you happier, or is that like a good thing? And I get inspiration on people that have overcome, and have come back and that keep putting themselves out there, refusing to give up. And that's where we see it all the time, man, those are the ones that are going to be successful. Those are the ones that are going to make it. And it sounds easy, and it's simple. It's just not easy to do.
Right.
The fact of when we fall down 7 and get up 8, that cliche sounds nice, but they never tell us is that you're going to think about that fourth and fifth fall that you had as well, and also the second and the third. So all that negativity comes back. But if you just overcome that one mistake and treat it for what it is, man, then failure is a bruise. It's not a tattoo. So I try to get that inspiration, man, from wherever I can. And I think we have to marinate our mind with that inspiration, that positivity on a continual basis, man. I love steak. I love eating steak. And I never just throw that sucker on the grill, man. I like to marinate it. That's what we got to do with our mind, marinate our mind with that inspiration.
Awesome. I love it. That whole fall down, get back up. I've heard it also phrased as I never make mistakes. I just learn, right? Or I never fail. I just learn. And I love the mental picture that you just painted, Dr. Rob. That's fantastic. So that does conclude our interview. For those listening, if you've heard something that is intriguing to you, something that has caught your mind and you'd like to learn more, please take advantage of the opportunity to purchase Dr. Rob's book or reach out to him, find out more about how he may be able to help you overcome your mindset challenges, take your game to the next level, as well as just, sign up, add comments to this post, and you'll be entered into that opportunity that Dr. Rob just offered to win a copy of his book. So again, Dr. Rob, appreciate the offer, appreciate the opportunity to chat with you today. It's been a pleasure, and I wish you tremendous success, my friend.
Thanks, Tim. Appreciate you, man.
All right, have a fantastic day.